Hello and welcome to the Sunday Standard News Review. This is a platform where we tackle big stories of the week. And this week we tackle the international credit rating agency Moodys, the review that they recently published, basically downgrading Botswana's credit worthiness, Botswana's credit rating. And to understand the topic further, we have Victor Baatweng, the business editor of Sunday Standard and the Telegraph newspapers. Hello, Victor, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Spencer.
Moodys review has sent shockwaves across the country. And the first question I think would be, do we have any reason to be worried about what Moodys have said?
Thank you very much. We have every reason to get worried. It's not just about Moodys, it's really about our economy and what other agencies would come out. Because remember, Moodys is just putting up a rating about the end. At a later stage, you would have other rating agencies also confirming the same. So we have all reason to worry because constantly we've been told how our country doesn't have money and how we need to borrow money. So if an agency says, a credit rating agency says we can't borrow enough, or we can borrow at a high cost, then we should be worried.
But by and large, the results of the review by Moodys effectively has told us what we always knew, that we have failed on diversification, that the foreign reserves which we have used as a buffer, either for borrowing, either here locally or internationally, they had been badly depleted. It has not been a train smash. We always expected this thing to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, the one of the things that the Moodys highlight is an issue of COVID-19, where they say that the public pace has been put into strain basically by COVID-19, which is also true. But remember how far off the budget was also because of what had happened even before COVID-19, where our reserves have been down. We've been told that in 2020 alone we used close to 20 billion. Mm-hmm. So the issue is, where did we use the money if the economy is still struggling?
Can you try to now bring it down to the implications for Botswana? What are the implications going forward? What are the implications on their livelihoods, their ability, for example, to borrow, their ability, for example, to just be able to sustain themselves going forward?
For Botswana, at home is about issues relating to service. If the government can't get enough money to service its people, then it means that the very same people are going to be affected here. The government needs this money to pay its wage bill. The government needs this money to do some of the government tax projects. The government needs this money for a lot of things. So if we are going to get this money at a high cost, it means even in the long term or medium to long term, we're still going to get the consequences. Mind you, this Moodys ratings is not saying we can't borrow. Mm-hmm. It's just saying, it's just escalating the cost of borrowing for us. Because if we go to the market and try to borrow, we are going to find a situation where now the people who could lend us money are going to do that at a high expense. They would have the demands, or some of them can't even meet in the short term.
But Botswana has always had a reputation for economic prudence. Where did we go wrong, and when did we start to derail?
I think, as the Moodys rightfully state in their statement, the issue of diversification really becomes a key here. If we had done the diversification, if we had transferred money into the hands of the locals and find a way to circulate the money within the hands of the locals, we could be having something. We could, in fact, the locals have an attachment to their country, which is an advantage to have the money in the hands of the local, as compared to when you give it to foreign-owned entities. Because of their attachment, they would want to see their nation progressing. And when the government reach out to the capital markets to borrow, they could easily borrow the government. But now we find a situation where the money is in the hands of foreign entities and the local people don't have money. Now the government go to the capital markets, try to borrow money, and because of those foreign entities that don't have attachment to the country, they just sit back because of the risks that have been highlighted by Moodys.
What advice would you give to the Botswana government, Victor, if you had a chance? Look, they have issued bonds and the uptake has been very, very bad. they've recently also been trying to talk to the IMF. It has not been a smooth sail. Diamond sales, for example, you would imagine they could be recovering. But what options really does the Botswana government have?
I think the option has always been one: let's diversify the economy away from the minerals, and also let's look at the issue of control and ownership of market and business enterprises. I mean, if you look at the malls that are booming in Gaborone and across the country, most of them, you look at the tenants, we still have foreign-owned entities occupying the space. But we are at a situation where we now need to have local people moving into that space to sell tomatoes, local tomatoes, to sell local products. That way we know that the money would circulate within the hands of the local people. The option that we have really is to get the money into the hands of indigenous Botswana.
Yeah, one of the biggest revenue earners for Botswana has always been the tax through the Botswana Unified Revenue Service. And they've recently hiked all sorts of taxes. Is that a way also out for Botswana government? Do you see that in a way, at least in the short term, which is really what is needed here, helping Botswana government to recover?
I don't see that working, and here is why. One, our collection rate has always been low. We've been collecting at about 30%. And if my calculations, if they are right, it says if we were to move numbers to maybe 50 or 60%, that's when we could do something, could make a shake-up in terms of our budget. But our collection rates, like I said, were very low at a time when there was normal business.
Yes.
Now we have a situation where it's not normal for a lot of businesses, and they've not been remitting when it was normal. So I can imagine a situation where now things are not going well for them. Do we expect these companies, particularly those who are foreign, to actually remit to the Botswana Unified Revenue Services? The answer would be no.
And lastly, Victor, can you talk a little bit about the diamond sales as of the first quarter? Do you know anything about what has been happening there?
Those are the positive, those are the good news that we got in the first quarter of 2021, that the sales have actually gone to the level that it was before COVID-19. The other good news really that came this week was a slight improvement in the reserves. Remember, we closed the year at about 2.8 billion, now we at about 7.4 billion. And that really money is not actually for everyday money. It was used to be, it's meant to be used as a buffer. So we can't get excited and say it would mean back to good service from government for the people. You can only hope that it keep rising to a point where now we have enough cover.
Thank you very much, Victor, for all those very interesting in-depth analysis that you give us. And thank you very much. We will be together again next week. Thanks.